Lego, the world's most iconic toy brand, was on the verge of disappearing completely. In this video, we'll see how Lego came close to bankruptcy, the mistakes that nearly destroyed the company, and most importantly, how they managed to save themselves and become an industry giant. Stay until the end, because you'll discover the key decision that changed Lego's destiny forever. Before Lego became the empire we know today, it was just a small family business in Denmark. And what's crazy is, Lego wasn't even making bricks at the beginning. The company started in 1932, founded by Ole Kirk Christiansen, a simple carpenter. His business? Wooden toys. Yes, Lego originally made wooden ducks, cars, and yo-yos, nothing like the sets we see today. But this small company was about to face its first major crisis. In 1942, disaster struck. A fire burned down the entire Lego factory. Everything was destroyed. Most businesses wouldn't recover from something like this, but Ole Kirk didn't give up. Instead of shutting down, he rebuilt from scratch, and in the late 1940s, he made a decision that changed everything. He switched from wood to plastic. The birth of the Lego brick. At the time, plastic was seen as cheap and unreliable. Toy stores didn't want it, parents didn't trust it, and competitors laughed at the idea. But Ole Kirk saw the future. He introduced the first Lego bricks in 1949, a simple interlocking system that was unlike anything else on the market. Then, in 1958, Lego patented their brick design, the same one we still use today. That's when Lego really started to grow. But it wasn't just about the bricks, it was about the system. Lego wasn't selling just individual toys. They were selling a world of endless possibilities. Everything could connect. Every piece could be used again and again. Kids weren't just playing with toys. They were creating something unique every time. The boom of Lego. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, Lego expanded rapidly. The company introduced Lego trains, Lego Technic, and Lego minifigures, each one making Lego more than just a toy. It was becoming a global phenomenon. By the 1980s, Lego was unstoppable. The launch of Lego Space, Lego Castle, and Lego Pirates turned them into the world's most recognizable toy brand. And in 1999, Lego did something that would forever change their future. They signed a licensing deal with Star Wars. Lego Star Wars was an instant hit. It wasn't just a bestseller, it was a cultural movement. For the first time, Lego was working with big entertainment franchises, opening the door for sets based on Harry Potter, Marvel, and DC in the future. At the turn of the millennium, Lego seemed unstoppable. But here's where things take a shocking turn, because just a few years later, Lego would be on the verge of bankruptcy. And what's even crazier? It was all their own fault. So, how does a company go from being the biggest toy brand to losing over $300 million a year? In the next section, we'll break down Lego's worst mistakes and how they almost destroyed the company. At the start of the 2000s, Lego was at its peak. They had global recognition, their sets were selling well, and with the launch of Lego Star Wars, they were more relevant than ever. But just a few years later, everything collapsed. In 2003, Lego reported a $300 million loss. The company was drowning in debt, sales were plummeting, and for the first time in history, Lego was considering the unthinkable, selling the company. How did this happen? How does a company go from being the king of the toy industry to nearly disappearing? Well, Lego made three massive mistakes, each one more disastrous than the last. Lego got overconfident. Instead of focusing on what made them great, building sets, they started expanding into areas they didn't understand. Lego theme parks? Massive failure. They cost millions to maintain, and they weren't generating enough profit. Eventually, Lego was forced to sell them. Lego clothing? No one wanted it. It seemed like a good idea. Kids love Lego, so why not sell Lego-themed clothes? But the execution was terrible, and it ended up being a financial disaster. Lego video games? They completely flopped. Before Lego Star Wars, the video game, Lego actually tried making their own console and games, and it was a disaster. Poor graphics, bad gameplay, and no one cared. Millions of dollars wasted. Instead of perfecting their core product, Lego was spreading itself too thin, and this led to their second major mistake. Lego started over-engineering their sets. Instead of focusing on simple, fun designs, they created overly complex models that required unique, expensive molds. Too many new pieces. At their worst, Lego was introducing hundreds of new brick molds every year. Production costs skyrocketed, and supply chains became a nightmare. More expensive, less playable. Some sets became so detailed that they weren't even fun to build anymore. Instead of encouraging creativity, Lego was making collector's models that didn't appeal to kids. And the worst part? The people buying Lego, the kids, were no longer interested. And that leads us to their final and biggest mistake. The early 2000s saw a major shift in how kids played. Instead of building Lego, they were playing PlayStation, Xbox, and Game Boy. And what did Lego do? Nothing. They ignored the competition, thinking their brand was too strong to fail. Sales dropped fast. By 2003, Lego had more inventory than ever, but fewer buyers. Sets were sitting on store shelves, and retailers were losing faith in the brand. By the way, I'm leaving you a video up here in which I talk more in depth about the problem that Lego scalpers are causing. The company was burning through cash. They were spending millions on failed projects, producing sets that weren't selling, and the company was on the verge of collapse. By the end of 2003, Lego had a choice: find a way to survive or sell the company. And trust me, the way they saved themselves will shock you. So, how did Lego go from losing $300 million to becoming the #1 toy company in the world? Well, in 2004, Lego made a decision that changed everything. And it all started with one man who had never even worked in the toy industry before. In the next section, we'll break down exactly how Lego saved itself from bankruptcy and became bigger than ever. Lego was collapsing. $300 million in losses, bad decisions, and a company that had lost its way. If they didn't act fast, Lego would be gone forever. But then, in 2004, Lego made a radical decision. They brought in a new CEO, someone who had never even worked in the toy industry before. His name was Jürgen Vig Knudstorp, and what he did next would completely change Lego's future. But before that, I'll give you 5 seconds to subscribe and leave a like. This is the story of how Lego went from the brink of disaster to becoming the #1 toy company in the world. When Knudstorp took over, Lego was a complete mess. The company was losing money on failed theme parks, expensive video games, and pointless Lego-branded products. Lego theme parks sold. Maintaining them was draining Lego's finances, so they sold the parks to another company and stopped running them directly. Lego clothing canceled. Lego wasn't a fashion brand, it was a toy company. Millions had been wasted on clothes that no one wanted. Failed Lego video games rebuilt from scratch. Instead of making their own gaming consoles, Lego partnered with real video game developers, and this decision was key to their comeback. Knudstorp's first move was simple but effective. Cut everything that didn't work and focus on what Lego did best: building sets. Another big problem? Lego sets had become too complicated, too expensive, and kids weren't enjoying them anymore. So, Lego went back to basics. They reduced the number of new bricks. Instead of creating hundreds of new molds every year, they focused on reusing existing pieces. This made sets cheaper to produce and more compatible with older ones. They simplified designs. Sets became more playable again. Less about complex structures, more about fun and creativity. And this move alone saved Lego millions of dollars in production costs. But Lego's biggest game changer? Licensed sets. Before the early 2000s, Lego mostly created original themes. But after the success of Lego Star Wars in 1999, they realized something. Fans wanted sets based on movies, comics, and pop culture. Lego Star Wars expanded. They doubled down on Star Wars, releasing some of their most iconic sets ever, including the first Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon. Lego Harry Potter was revived. Harry Potter Lego sets were brought back just in time for the movie franchise's peak popularity. Lego Marvel and DC were introduced. For the first time ever, Lego partnered with Marvel and DC to bring superhero minifigures to life. Licensed sets became Lego's biggest moneymaker, attracting both kids and adult collectors. And this is what made Lego not just a toy brand, but a pop culture giant. But Lego had one final move left, and it was the smartest decision in the company's history. Lego had cut its losses. They simplified their sets. They made licensing deals that changed everything, but there was still something missing: the fans. In the next section, we'll reveal the one decision that turned Lego into the biggest toy company in the world. And trust me, it's something no other toy brand was doing. Lego had simplified its sets, they had cut their losses, they had secured licensing deals that made them millions. But there was still one final move that transformed Lego from just a toy brand into a global phenomenon: the creation of Lego Ideas. For the first time ever, Lego decided to listen to its fans. They launched Lego Ideas, an online platform where anyone could submit their own Lego set designs. And if enough people voted for it, Lego would actually make it a real set. Lego turned its fans into designers. Instead of just selling products, Lego created a community-driven experience. And this changed everything. Sets like the Lego NASA Saturn V, the Lego Minecraft set, and even the Lego Home Alone house all exist because of Lego Ideas. The result? Lego became #1 in the toy industry. By 2015, Lego had officially surpassed Mattel and Hasbro, becoming the biggest toy company in the world. And today, they're worth over $10 billion. Lego went from almost disappearing forever to becoming bigger than ever. And they did it by cutting what didn't work, listening to their fans, and adapting to a new generation. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think was the smartest move Lego made? Let me know in the comments. And if you love Lego history, check out my next video on the most expensive Lego sets ever made. You won't believe how much some of these are worth. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.